So when I was here about 8 months ago at the AFL-CIO Labor Day breakfast, yeah, where are you? Go ahead, yell. There you are, awesome. I laid out the bleak situation that we would find ourselves in if Donald Trump returned to the White House. Now, well, here we are. I gave it to you straight last year, and I'm going to give it to you straight again tonight. In this fragile moment, the direction of this nation will turn on who we choose to listen to, whose stories we decide to tell about what is happening, who we elevate and who we ignore, who we find noteworthy and who we label as just noise. Who we listen to will shape the way we react to events as they unfold. Fellow Democrats, for far too long, we've been guilty of listening to a bunch of do-nothing political types who would tell you that America's house is not on fire, even as the flames were licking their faces. Today, as the blaze reaches the rafters, the pundits and politicians, the pundits and politicians whose simpering timidity served as kindle for the arsonists, they urge us now not to reach for a hose. Meanwhile, if we took care to listen to the voices of real people, we would hear our neighbors and our friends standing on the streets, outside, screaming for a response, one big enough for a 5-alarmer. So today I want to talk to you about those people. I want their voices to be what we hear, their stories to be the ones that we tell. Andy Smith. Andy Smith lives in Edwardsville, which is a small city in southern Illinois. On February 4th of this year, Andy took a homemade sign to a spot where she figured she would get the most visibility, the intersections of highways 157 and 143, and on her own, she lifted up her sign and she started protesting the Trump administration. Later, she told the local paper that on that first day, she felt like a crazy person standing out there all by herself. And then someone walking her dog saw her sign, stopped, and decided to join her. That helped, Andy said. The next day, February 5th, Andy showed up to protest again, and this time 4 friends came to join her. Well, 2 days later, on February 7th, the small but hearty band of Edwardsville protesters got their first counter-protester, one guy who yelled obscenities at them. But in true Midwestern fashion, that guy later returned to apologize. Andy Smith's protesters now meet every Friday at 1 p.m. Last week, there were 300 of them. Gavin Carpenter is a disabled military veteran and a maintenance mechanic at Yosemite National Park. Every February, Yosemite fills with people waiting to see an event that happens only once a year. The winter sun lights up a waterfall on the face of the park's most famous cliff, El Capitan. This year, on that day, Gavin climbed to the top of the cliff and he hung an American flag upside down, famously known as a signal of dire distress. When asked why he did it, Gavin pointed to the cuts that Elon Musk and Doge were making to his beloved national parks. And he said, "We're bringing attention to what's happening to our parks, which are every American's properties." Lucy Welch. Lucy writes the daily snow report at the Sugarbush Resort in Vermont. Last month, J.D. Vance went on vacation at Sugarbush. So Lucy decided to write, a very different kind of snow report. Instead of the usual details about powder conditions and weather, She wrote about what was happening to the diverse and wonderful community of veterans and people with disabilities and LGBTQ plus friends and immigrant workers and people of color. She wrote, all of these groups are being targeted, undervalued, and disrespected by the current administration. And she finished her Snow report by writing, I am using my relative platform as Snow reporter to be disruptive. I don't have a whole lot to lose. We're living in a really scary time, in a really serious time. What we do and don't do matters.